Good morning and welcome to Village in Motion. I'm your host, Marcia Boyles. I'd like to start today introducing Kelly Lexander, who is our new volunteer coordinator. I say new, Kelly. You've been in the position 2 months?
Yeah, a little under 2 months still. So let's say new. It lets people give me a break. You know, if you say she's new. Let's keep that.
Kelly, is this your first interview?
This is not my first interview, Marcia, but I'd say this is my first interview where I feel like I've got a handle on the job and I know where our needs are and how I can connect the community. So I feel more confident in this interview.
I have to say I'm impressed that that you've gotten organized in less than 2 months.
Sure, I mean, you kind of have to, especially in this community. We're very active. People want you in the job. Let's get to work as soon as they find you're in there. So. No time.
You did such a bang-up job as community resources person, and we hated to lose you in that position. But certainly the volunteer coordinator is a major important job here.
Absolutely, and luckily for me, I still get to dip my toe into the community resources world, which the talent show last week, they let me be a part of that. So you'll see my face around, I'm sure.
I see. All right. So you haven't totally left community resources. All right. Well, I think that's probably a good thing for community resources.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea when your replacement will be arriving?
I don't have a date, but it's definitely the closest it's ever been. If anyone's been talking about it, we're very close to the end of the process. So
all right. Has anybody been appointed?
Not yet.
All right.
But we are very close. Stay tuned.
But in the process. Kelly, what would you like to talk about in terms of the volunteer coordinator position?
Yeah. We have something very exciting coming up in September, and as I've been adjusting to the position, I've inherited some of these wonderful programs, and we have this one program that's through a Fairfax County 50+ initiative, and it's called Grand Involve is the program itself, and that's a program through Fairfax County where they try to connect older adults to Title I elementary schools, and they can assist in the classroom or read to children. So
now wait a minute, let me stop you. What is a Title I elementary school?
So Title I, I don't know the exact definition, but those are the less fortunate schools. It's a lot of the children on the free and reduced lunch. Okay. So there's a lot more help to be given to those schools. So that's where we're targeted. And so Greenspring, with this Grand Involve, has been connected to a local school, Crestwood Elementary.
Yes.
And through that, we've had a few volunteers. I think it's been about 3 years now. This might be our 3rd year doing it. Don't quote me, again, still learning.
I think it's been a while.
Yeah, but being a part of this program has been wonderful for us. We have great volunteers doing it. And at this September 12th Fairfax County Board meeting, the Grand Involve program as a whole will be recognized, and our Greenspring volunteers who have been working with Crestwood are invited to attend. So we'll all be there. We'll have a photo op, and it's going to be just an opportunity to thank them for the work they've been doing. And I'd like to also mention something too. If that sounds like something somebody might be interested in, I'm going to be releasing a bit more information about it to get new volunteers who might want to volunteer with Crestwood Elementary. And we go once a week on Wednesdays for about an hour or so.
Do you provide transportation?
So we're lucky. We have Grace Presbyterian Church. They provide us a free bus shuttle. So I think right now we have under 15 volunteers, so we still have room on the bus. So I'll put out information, and if even before that, if you want to reach out to me directly and just say, Kelly, I might be interested in this, I'd like to learn more, please give me a call and we can talk about it sooner.
All right, Kelly, it's on Wednesdays. It's an hour?
Yeah, about an hour long, and you can either, most people team up with a certain teacher, and so you get to know them throughout the year, and you know the kids, and it can kind of evolve from there, so it's nice. And I know some people even go back the next year and follow that teacher with a new class, or follow a student.
What grade is it?
So this is elementary, so it could be anything in the elementary school.
Anything in elementary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have some sort of want, I could give an hour. I'd like to get involved in the local community outside of Greenspring. That's a big opportunity. So that's something I'd like to push, and if that sounds interesting, let me know. I think you'll probably have my contact information coming up, but I'm in the volunteer office in Garden Ridge, so you can always just call the front desk and say, give me Kelly, the volunteer lady. They'll hook it up. So that's one of our
Kelly,
outside.
the volunteer lady. Yeah. I like it.
So that's one of our outside community outreach, which is a nice volunteer opportunity, and hopefully in the future we can build more of that, those kind of bridges. Having that transportation really makes it key, though. Yes. A lot of us, that makes it just much easier. So we have that going. So that's a big kind of event that I wanted to talk about. But then other opportunities, I want people to, I've gotten some inquiries of people who are saying maybe they're new and how do I get involved in Greenspring? Or people who aren't new and they say, I've been doing this, I'd like to do something else. The good news is we have lots of need for volunteers and lots of good opportunities. So in Garden Ridge, we have a few opportunities pretty much always. There's always a need in Garden Ridge for volunteers. We need people to be friendly visitors, which is basically, I have a list of people through the social work department in Garden Ridge who have stated that they could use someone to visit them. It doesn't have to be someone they know, a family member, but a designated Greenspring volunteer could be appointed to go and meet them maybe once a week. You could kind of work it out in your schedule and you could read to the person or take them for a walk of Garden Ridge, So that one's a very flexible opportunity and always a need. So if that's something that sounds good to you, let me know. I have kind of a list of my friendly visitors and I'm trying to keep that growing.
Now, these visitors are for the permanent residents of Garden Ridge.
Yes, absolutely. So the residents who have their reserved apartments over there. But I think if there are people who are in the rehab in EV2, and are having short stays, they can still request it. Yeah, that's not a problem for us. So if the need is there, we will fill it. So that's kind of one of my flexible volunteer opportunities over there. I know another need that I've been just recently told about was in the salon. So in Garden Ridge, they have their own salon, and women and men can get their hair cut and everything done there. But there's sometimes a need of getting the patients to the salon and back in a timely manner. Sometimes they're waiting for their aide who might be wrapped up with another patient. So just having someone there to take them from and back to the salon is a big help. So if you have a couple hours in your week to donate to that, I would really appreciate it, and we can get connected on that. Also something that is always ongoing in Garden Ridge, if you have some sort of talent or anything you want to give to the people, maybe it's, I'd like to read a short story, let me know, and that could be a program for even our memory care people in Garden Ridge, or it could be for the general population. Anything that you think you'd like to share with someone, we could make a program for it, and that's beneficial for everyone. And people like to see their peers or their neighbors doing something for them like that. I think it has a big impact.
What kinds of things have you done?
Me so far?
Well, I mean, what kinds of programs?
So that really, it could vary. I know they've had musicians, you can play the piano,
That's what
obviously.
I was going to say.
That's a big thing about music, but to me, we could broaden it, like, especially with the talent show. There's some people I know, shout out to Steve Nezgoda, he could read quite a story. He has a great voice, but also we had another resident, Annette Sletton, who read her own written short story. So things like that, if you can read something that's already been written, maybe you want to read a book, I think that's another opportunity that we could definitely go down. I know musical instruments, not all of us are inclined to that, but a lot of us enjoy reading and poetry and things like that. So also, I'd like to say in independent living, we have need for volunteers. So if you're living over here, you may already be involved in volunteering and you don't know. All of our resident groups that we have, like PFLAG, bridge groups, the resident council, of course, but all our little activity groups, the leaders and people who work so hard to put those groups together and schedule meetings, you're a volunteer. You're volunteering your time to do that. So whether you already are a group leader, make sure you're recording your hours so we can acknowledge you appropriately. And you can get those forms at the front desks every month. But also, if you'd like to start something new, now that's something I kind of can bridge off my old time in community resources. If you find, I always say this for Avon, I want to start a comic book club. You like comics, you want to start that club, you will be a volunteer putting that group on, so that's you're giving back to the community and maybe getting other people involved in your interests. So that's kind of a community resources volunteer connection there. So that's another good way in independent living. I've also been aware of another opportunity in independent living through our intermissions program. And everyone might not be familiar with intermissions, but that is an in-house program. It's located in the Forest View building of Village Square, and it's a inpatient creative arts therapy program that people may enroll in, and it's at a cost, but it's a Monday through Friday program here, and it can be all day. And so volunteers that they need for that program are, one, just an extra set of hands, somebody to help get people from the Forest View location, they meet in the lobby or they meet in other areas, just keeping the group together. But because it's a creative arts therapy, dance therapy, music therapy, they request if there's volunteers that have something they'd like to share. Maybe it's lead a craft group for an hour. It would be about an afternoon time for the group. You could do a craft that you know how to do, or maybe it's a small painting type class. But they're looking for anybody like that who might want to donate some of their time to help the programming in intermissions. So that's another one. And then lastly, I want to I want to talk about hospice volunteers.
Yes.
So that's something I know Kimberly Nelson, my boss, has talked about in the past coffee with the exec team, but we're looking for volunteers for hospice kind of on an ongoing basis. I have a few people who have just come through and we're going to get them started, but
is there a training?
Absolutely. So the training is the most extensive, I would say, out of all of the volunteer opportunities on campus. This is the most in-depth. You're going to get the full volunteer process. You're going to have a 5-hour training course. You know, it's very involved, but it's for our hospice program. And with that, you can either do patient visit volunteering, which you're actually going to be paired up with one of our patients on hospice, and that can be providing social interaction or just a comforting presence for them. But you're paired up with them, so you'll follow them through their journey on hospice. Or if that's not something you're comfortable with or you don't feel like diving right into, we do have office volunteers in hospice. We have a lot of paperwork, a lot of filing needs. So
Kelly, isn't that confidential?
Absolutely. That is part of the training that you go through, is to go through that confidentiality. And we don't have our volunteers going through the real files of the patients, but a lot of times it's maybe filing letters or sending out things to the family members, things like that. Aren't as sensitive to that.
No medical information.
Absolutely.
Kind
Thank
of
you.
things.
Yeah, right. So there's always a need for that. So I like to say that I'm finding in this job, I know the campus, I know we're full of energy and people want to get involved and help out where they can, but there are so many opportunities that to keep it going. If you have an interest or you're not sure what you want to do, let's talk. We can make something, we can start something here, or make anything happen. So that's what I'm finding and loving about this job, is that we can make it however we want here at Greenspring, which is awesome.
Kelly, are they still doing pet therapy?
Yes, that is another one. I'm telling you, there's so much. Pet therapy, we do have a pet visit group that's on and going at Garden Ridge. And so pets that go through a little bit of a temperament check with me, and they turn in all their vaccination paperwork, can join this pet visit group. And they meet every Tuesday in Garden Ridge in the lobby at 11 a.m. And they split up and they go to both sides of Garden Ridge. They go to Evergreen and they also go to Rose Court, and they just walk through the halls with their dogs, and everyone knows they're coming on that day. And
so it's just one day a week now?
One day a week, but it's good to go on that day just so the staff knows and residents can be expecting the dogs and when they're coming, and it really just lifts everybody's spirits. Yesterday, it was Tuesday, a rainy Tuesday, but the dogs came in. They really did bring the cheer to the building, and it was not just to the residents in there. It was for the staff. It was for the dogs. It was for everyone. It's a wonderful program also. So thank you for mentioning that.
Well, and I think the pets also visit maybe once a month the intermissions program.
Oh, okay. That's news to me. Okay, I'm still learning. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe we can expand that too. I've been getting a lot of dogs out of the woodwork in this past month who want to volunteer their time.
Dogs out of the woodwork.
They're coming through.
There's an image.
Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, it is. And they do have to be sort of calm
that's right.
Dogs.
So they go through like a little temperament check, and even after that, they get a trial run. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Maybe they walk in the lobby, they're not good with other dogs, and that's totally fine too. But maybe before we run out of time, if I could just say my full contact information in case anybody wants to talk to me, we could set up an appointment. I am often running around campus, so calling me or emailing me is best. So my name's Kelly Lukshander, Volunteer Programs Coordinator, and my office number is 703-923-3154. And then my email is my name, kelly.lukshander, which you might have to look up in the directory at erickson.com. But I would suggest if write that down, call the front desk. They know it. You can easily do that, which is a great thing about this community also. Keep people connected. So
just ask for the volunteer lady.
Ask for the volunteer lady or Kelly. I think I'm the only one here. We'll see. But, yeah.
Well, Kelly, this has been terrific. I see that our time is about up here. Anything else you'd like to leave us with? Or I think you covered the water.
Yeah, I sure did. I really would say reach out to me, as I'm still getting, like I said, I have a better handle on the job, but I still want to keep people connected. So reach out to me and let's talk. Let's see where we get.
All right, well, terrific. This is an important job, and I know you're going to do a bang-up job.
Well,
so
thanks, Marcia.
We're delighted to have you in it.
Thank you.